After back-to-back draws in the league, the world champion heads to North London to visit the European Virgins at the Emirates. They are sitting at the top of the table, acting like they already won it. But in this video, I'm breaking down Liam Rossini's secret weapon to silence the library and finally secure that win. But before we dive into this gargantuan preview, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. Or if you have been following me for a while, you know the drills. Help your boy get to that 10k subscriber mark. Let's dive into it. This Sunday, March 1st, 4:30, we are heading to the Emirates, or should I say, the most expensive library in the world, for a match that, quite frankly, I've been dreading and dreaming about in equal measure. Look, let's be real, I can't stand Arsenal. Everything about them, the fans, the smugginess, the process talk, the way they act like they have won treble every time they string 3 passes together, it gets under my skin. And after seeing them at the top right now, it's sickening. They are sitting there with 61 points, 5 clear of City, feeling themselves way too much. But as much as it pains me to see, we have to look at the reality of where we are. We are 5th. We're on 45 points, level with Liverpool, and suddenly we are looking over our shoulder because Michael Carrick has decided to turn Manchester United into 2000 United overnight. I'm looking at the game and I'm seeing Manchester United in 4th with 48 points. They have been unbeaten in the last 5 games. And suddenly, our restructuring phase under Liam Rossini feels a lot more urgent. We let points slip against Leeds and Burnley, 2 games we should absolutely have buried. And now we have lost that cushion. And I'll be honest, I like what Liam Rossini is trying to do. He's bringing a bit of tactical identity back to the breach, but fundamental restructuring doesn't win you 3 points at the Emirates. We already felt the sting of these guys this season. Losing that Carabao Cup semi-final over 2 legs was a bitter pill to swallow. I was fuming about that 1-0 at the Emirates in February. We looked toothless. So here is my concern. Because of this Carrick revolution breathing down our neck, I am worried Liam Rossini might feel the force to be too aggressive. They love that transition. They want us to overcommit so they can hit us on the break. I want us to win. I want to ruin their season. I want to be the reason their pursuit of history hits a brick wall. But I also know if we don't fix the lack of concentration that cost us against Burnley, where we literally let them equalize in the 93rd minute, these guys will punish us within 10 minutes. We have to be smarter. I want to see some fights, some grit, and a little bit of that old Chelsea nastiness that makes their fans go quiet. This isn't just a game, it's about reminding them that no matter where they are in the table, we are still the biggest headache. But moving on, let's talk about history, if we can call it that. Lately, it feels more like a recurring nightmare. But historically, yeah, they have got the edge. 87 wins to our 66 wins. But it's the recent stuffs that make my head hot. Look at this season alone. November 30th, we held them to a 1-1 draw at the beach. But Caicedo see the red for violent conduct basically killed our momentum. Then came that Carabao Cup semi-final. I'm still not over it. Losing 3-2 at home in the first leg was bad enough, especially seeing Garnacho bag a brace, only for us to throw it away. But the second leg, that was the breaking point. I can't tell you how much it kills me that Kai Havertz is the one doing the damage. The man we sold to them, he scored the winner in the first leg, and then he popped up in the 97 minutes at Emirates. Knocked us out of the cup completely. I was watching that game filming because we went with 5 at the back. We played so pragmatically that we actually forgot to play football. Liam Rossini waited too long to bring on Cole Palmer and Extova, and we just sat there. It felt like we are waiting to lose. And frankly, it left a bitter taste seeing Wesley Fofana in tears at the final whistle. I felt that. It felt like we didn't give it a proper go. Now moving into Sunday. The team news is basically a soap opera. I'm looking at our backline and I want to cry. Wesley Fofana is out. He picked up a red card against Burnley, 2 yellow card. Absolutely silly stuffs. And he's suspended for 1 game that we actually need his physicality. And Marco Cucurella is sidelined with a hamstring issue. We are basically duct taping our defense together. We are hearing Romeo Lavia might be back on the bench, which is a small mercy. But our centre-back situation is a genuine crisis. But on the other side, Arsenal and Mikel Arteta are playing their usual games. Bukayo Saka limped off in their 4-1 win over Tottenham last weekend. Every Arsenal fan on the planet is reacting like the sky is falling. But let's be real, I've seen this movie before. Saka limps off and Mikel Arteta gives a mysterious update in the presser. And then he's miraculously sprinting down the wing come 4:30 on Sunday. I'm not falling for it. However, they have a real issue. Mikel Merino is out long term and Kai Havertz, our favourite villain, has been dealing with a hamstring problem that kept him out for the last few games. Best part for me, hope he stays in the stands. Ben White is also a doubt with a nego, but the biggest worry for us right now is Christopher Williams. He felt something in his hamstring in training last Friday. He's the spark we need. If he's not fit to start, we might lose that X factor that can actually scare their fullbacks. But let's get into the weeds of how this actually plays out on the pitch. It's Emirates Stadium versus Arteta, the student versus the guy who think he invented football. Arsenal loves that settled 4-3-3 with Zubimendi sitting deep and Odegaard and Rice causing chaos ahead of him. They create those wide triangles that honestly makes my head spin. But here is where we have a chance. Emirates Stadium has been working on this fluid 4-2-3-1/3-4-2-1 hybrid. I want to see Caicedo and Santos bust that midfield. If our fullback inverts and move inside to create that box midfield, we might actually match their numbers. If we can survive their high press and actually get the ball to Kopama in those half spaces, that's where the magic happens. I want to see him turn, look Gabriel in the eyes and just drive at him. That's our path for victory. But now let's talk about the elephant in the room, Viktor Gyökeres. Since he joined them, he has been a physical nightmare. And what do we have to stop it? Wesley Fofana is suspended because he couldn't keep his cool against Burnley. So we are looking at Trevor Chalobah and Benoit Badiashile to contain a guy who basically thrives on battling defenders. Gyökeres don't just run, he bullies. If Badiashile has one of his lapses in concentration, while Gyökeres is sniffing around the channel, we are in serious trouble. And I'm genuinely worried that our depleted backline is going to look like a training cone for him. Emirates Stadium system asks a lot of our wing back. Rich James and Malo Gusto has to be everywhere. They have to stretch the pitch wide and also sprint back to cover. And who are they sprinting back against? Gabriel Martinelli and potentially Noni Madueke. It's just our luck, isn't it? Madueke, a guy we let go, is now lighting it up for them. He had 2 assists in his last start. If Saka actually misses out, and again, I'll believe it when I see the team sheet, Madueke is going to be playing with a massive point to prove against us. If we play high line with a makeshift defense with that kind of pace, they are playing with fire. I want us to be brave, but I also don't want us to be stupid. We need to lock down those transitions, or it's going to be a long afternoon in North London. We're heading into Emirates this Sunday, and it's basically a coalition of Arsenal tactical perfection and our own growing Albert, slightly chaotic flexibility under Emirates Stadium. I'll be honest, it's a massive ask. We are going into their backyard without Wesley Fofana and potentially William Ekstova. This is a huge blow. We are up against a high line led by Gyökeres, and don't get me started on their set pieces. They have turned corners into science projects, and I'm terrified our makeshift defense is going to fall under that kind of pressure. We have to have some defensive steel. That's, let's face it, has been missing for the most part of this season. We have seen flashes of possession with purpose under Emirates Stadium, especially when we find Kopama in those central pockets. But flashes don't win derbies. We need 90 minutes of absolute discipline. This isn't just 3 points. This result is going to send shockwave through the entire team. If the unthinkable happens and Arsenal win, they go 8 points clear of City. Depending on how City does at least, that puts them in the driver's seat for the title. And frankly, I don't think I could handle the smugginess from their fans for the rest of the year. But if we pull off the miracle, this is the statement victory Emirates Stadium needs. We would likely leapfrog Manchester United into 4th place and finally cement ourselves as the legitimate Champions League contenders. It would be the ultimate "you are back" moment. And if it's a draw, honestly, it doesn't do much for us. We'll still be looking over our shoulders at a Liverpool side that is neck and neck with us on points and goal difference. It will, however, hand the title race momentum straight back to Pep and Manchester City. Which, look, I'll take that any day of the week over Arsenal winning the league. But moving on to the 11 I'm putting my faith on. With everything we have talked about, The injuries, the suspension, the sheer hatred for the red and white kits. This is the team that has to go out there and do the business. In goal, Robert Sanchez. He has been in good form, and his bravery in possession is exactly what Liam Rossinier wants to bait their press. Just please, Sanchez, know how to attack moments on Sunday. And at right back, I'll be going with Reece James, my captain. We need him to stay fit and absolutely lock down that right flank. If he's on his game, Martinelli won't get a sniff. At centre back, I'll be going with Trevor Chalobah. He's a veteran of the backline with Fofana out. He knows what these derbies mean. He has to be the vocal leader. Alongside him, Mamadou Sarr. Since he came back from that loan at Strasbourg in February, he looked physically ready. At 6'4", he's the only one I trust to actually go toe-to-toe with Gyökeres in the air. It's a baptism of fire. Left back, I'll be going with Malo Gusto. I'm moving him to the left to deal with the threats of Madueke or Saka. He's got the recovery pace we are going to desperately need. And the pivot, I'm going with Moises Caicedo, the engine. I want him snapping at Odegaard heels from minute 1. We need the shithousery version of Caicedo on Sunday. And alongside him is Andre Santos. The connection with Liam Rossinier from Strasbourg is real. He's composed, he's technical, and he'll help us keep the ball when Emirates gets loud. And in the 10, Enzo Fernandez. I'm pushing him higher in the 10 row, let him pull the strings. If he can find those vertical passes into the front three, we are cooking. And on the right, it's Cole Palmer, the code himself. Everything goes through him. I want to see him drifting inside and making Gabriel and Saliba question their entire existence. On the left wing, it's Pedro Neto. Pace, pace, and more pace. We know Jurgen Timber is fit and likely starting at right back. And honestly, I want to see Neto running our team from the first whistle. Timber is quick, but he loves to invert and talk into midfield to help them keep the ball. But leading the line, I'll be going with the most informed striker in the league right now, Joao Pedro. He has been clinical this season with 11 goals already in the Premier League. He's got that Brazilian flair, but also the work rate to lead the press. But for my prediction, my heart is overcomplicating things, but my gut is telling me we can do this. I'm going with a 2-1 Chelsea win. And with that said, that's the end of the video, my friends. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. You go be.